Hey, hi, Divine Feminine. It's Patsy here, and I am coming to speak to you today about um, a message that I'd gotten regarding my own uh, twin flame experience so far. Um, and I just wanted to just give a shout out to Princess India of She Do Tarot and James 13 Wicca. Um, Both of those readers who I watch pretty consistently um, spoke about a ritual of burial in order to free oneself from, you know, situations, people, um, family members of, who past lovers who have crossed over. And the reason I'm bringing it up is, first of all, the two messages that were given the same time period. For She Do Tarot, it was the Leo message from yesterday. And James for Wicker, I don't even remember which one of the messages it was, but it was, I watched it on March 2nd in the evening. And it was just interesting that he would say how you should gather these things, put them in a box, um, and bury other things. Put some things away in files. He was speaking as if someone had a problem, lost their home because of a earthquake or a fire or flood, something, the property. So old pictures of the house, put them, away in a like pages of parchment in between the pictures so that they wouldn't stick to each other. Put it in some kind of airtight file and lock it away. And for others, if it was a relationship, take the things that you can and put them in a box. The things that you have that remind you of that situation, put them in a box, take them outdoors, the woods, somewhere, and bury it. Have an actual funeral. And Princess India, on her Leo video last night, was saying, well, this morning actually, was basically saying the same thing. And the reason I kind of perked up was on the first, I was talking to a friend, and as I was talking to her, I was talking to her about the deck, the Isis Oracle that I said I use, for myself, and I was telling her that she should get it for herself too, since she's on this, twin flame journey. It's kind of empowering deck I found for myself. And I was telling her that I, did these videos and that, okay, got the confirmation, a ding. I do these videos specifically for the Divine Feminine, which is actually just me sharing my experiences whenever I'm strong enough to do that, to get on the camera and share those. And the card that had come out for me as we were talking and I was shuffling was this card, the proper burial for freedom. A sacrifice to Osiris, the Lord of the Dead. And this also spoke about a burial ritual. Okay? This is, well, I'll just read this part of it. In order for life to flow and express itself, that which belongs to the world of death must be released. There is nothing to be gained and everything to be lost by trying to hold on to what no longer serves us, which is better left to die. Though it takes great spiritual courage and trust to allow this to happen. Osiris, the Lord of the Dead, guides you now to release that which no longer needs to be part of your life so that you may be free. You need to see something through and let it go so that you are free from it. You may or may not be fully aware of what this is, but your energy field is somehow haunted by the past or drained by attachments that are no longer necessary for your growth. Just want to make sure the sound is up. This could be anything from a past relationship to dreams or visions that may have encouraged you in past times, but are not relative for where you're going now. It may also be the spirit of a lost child or loved one, someone who has passed on or left your side, or the ghost of expectations unmet from past hopes and dreams. There is so much beauty and fullness waiting for you right now, beloved initiate. There's no need to further hold on to the past. Don't be scared. You are supported so utterly and completely in this deep healing release, and all involved will benefit from this healing change. It is not abandoning what you've loved to give it full and proper burial. It is in fact honoring and allowing what you are releasing to return to the pure love and light of Source. It is a spiritual freedom for you, and what you have released, which is the destiny to which all of life will eventually return. It takes great trust if you allow Osiris to help you. You will realize that in letting go, rebirth and growth are really possible. You may experience grief, anger, fear, freedom, and a sense of relief, or a combination of these feelings as you move to let go and allow proper burial to take place. Don't be afraid of any of these feelings, for they will pass naturally when allowed to just flow. These feelings will actually fertilize new life and allow you to become more of who you are in truth. Trust that Osiris will love and protect that which is released into his care through the world of death. Death, too, becomes a new life. There's nothing to fear and everything to gain. So, it also happens that I was watching a past video that I had done last year on September 11th. And in it I mentioned, it was a Talking to Heaven like reading live. And mentioning that people's acceptance of cremation has grown since 9/11 because so many people were decimated and there was nothing to bury, so people began not to feel that cremation was a taboo because their loved ones have been cremated against their will, was against the family's wishes and everything like that, so God couldn't possibly hold that as a taboo, and that would affect a lot of other beliefs that people hold. These are religious tenets I'm referring to, but still, there's a closure that comes with the funeral ritual. And I think for some of us, or maybe those of us who this may be pertaining to, we may have family, friends, loved ones, exes who have made their transition, and we may or may not have been part of the funeral ritual, or we have, and there was a cremation maybe, and that was the closure that you chose or the family chose, and that was fine. But I think what it's saying is that in our position of divinity, and our awareness, some of us, of the differences with the dimensions, 3D and 5D, and so on, that maybe these energies stick with us a little longer, or we don't get the same closure that others do, all right? Like they say in the scriptures, we don't die like others, right, who don't know. So when you know, death resonates with you differently than it does with those who don't know, I guess. But still, we are here having a human experience. And so we have human feelings, we have human fears. We miss people just like we love people, just like we allow people to make us angry. So for some of us, perhaps the way to get past some energies that may be lingering, or some relationships, situationships that need to be purged, maybe it would be best to do a burial for each one, or for them, for each one, or for them collectively, who knows, whatever is easiest for you, whatever your, however way your spirit leads you. So in the I was reading from the Isis Oracle by ALANA Fairchild, right, and that was on page 130, and 1 and 3 plus 0 is 4. So this is foundational. This is something that is going to be able to get you started on a new path, or remove blockages from the path that we're on. So there's a ritual that calls for a small candle, and sitting in your room quietly with your eyes closed, focusing on your breathing, becoming aware of your heart, and going deeper and deeper into your heart with each breath, until you become aware of vast open space in all areas around you. So you're going to be doing your meditation, and you're going to be going deeper and deeper into your heart with your eyes closed. And you're going to say aloud, I call upon Lord Osiris, who loves me unconditionally, to cast into your unconditionally loving care that which no longer naturally belongs in the land of the living. Stay in your heart and become aware of a beautiful man with a rich green light all around him, promising new life and growth. He holds a crook and flail in each arm and wears an ornate crown. His eyes are kind. So this would be the depiction here then of Osiris. All right. So he is the god of death. And this is the Egyptian pantheon that we are working with, but you all know that. All right, I'm just trying to position it and try to get the glare off of it if I can. Oh, okay. All right. That's nice. Okay. Okay. I call upon the Lord Osiris, who loves me unconditionally, to cast into your unconditionally loving care that which no longer naturally belongs in the land of the living. Stay in your heart and become aware of a beautiful man with a rich green light all around him, promising new life and growth. He holds a crook and a flail in each arm and wears an ornate crown. His eyes are kind. As you light your candle, say, I now call forth that which is attached to my energy field and does not serve me in unconditional love. I now choose of my own free will to cast into loving care of Osiris all attachments, histories, beliefs, and beings of any influence that are not aligned with unconditional love. I release you now through all time and space with love and respect. Go in peace. You may not return to me ever. Our contracts are now dissolved, and I set you free. I set myself free. So be it. And let yourself be at peace. If you feel emotion or surprise as different impressions register in your body or mind, just let them flow without attachment. You may feel fear, sadness, anger, or grief arising and leaving your body. You may temporarily feel confusion or nausea, waves of regret or pain as these energies leave. Don't concern yourself. Stay with the process and know that you are supported. Close your eyes and perceive Osiris receiving the light of the candle into his own heart with love and compassion. His heart is vast and can receive so much old energy and pain from you. Simply taking it into his heart and letting it burn in the sacred fire of his heart chakra. Stay with the process until you feel it is completed to your satisfaction. Then open your eyes and blow out your candle. Once the candle is dry, you may dispose of it completely as an offering to Osiris with thanks for his divine service. And your healing ritual is now complete. So, there's also an incantation to Osiris in case you feel that you need to renew your own light. And it says, Osiris, master of love and peace, bring my soul to the light of relief. Through unconditional love and a heart that is true, I release that which should be returned to you. I surrender all knot of unconditional love to your peaceful heart, sure as the dove. I am free from that which no longer lives. New life and healing you now give. To that which is due, burial, proper, and right, we are all free now to grow with the light. I'm free to move on now thanks to you with unconditional love and compassion too. So, for those of you who are having a hard time releasing a loved one who has passed on, this may be helpful for you when you're ready to do this ritual to release yourself of any negativity, if this is causing you to feel depression, all right, if this has become maybe more than just your regular grieving process and you're unable to get on top of it, and you've been trying counseling, or maybe you haven't. Maybe this is something you should add to your tools of getting through this situation. But I would advise you that if you are experiencing loss, please get in touch with those counselors and those organizations in your area that provide grief counseling. And they have them for siblings and spouses and children and friends. There are 800 numbers that are there to assist you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'll leave a link to the 1-800 helpline, and they could direct you to people and places in your area. But if you just want to talk, just feel free to pick up the phone anytime. And someone will be on the other end that will listen, right? You don't have to go through any of this alone. If this is a situation that you have decided that you need to release yourself from, that may or may not be associated with someone who has transitioned, definitely this would be a ritual that you might want to employ. You're not meant to carry around that energy. That energy doesn't even want you to carry it around because you're holding up their progress, all right? Because sometimes when we hold on to these things, we bind that soul and keep them in limbo. That's why we have to forgive, and that's why we have to accept, and that's why we have to release so that we can receive that. Okay, so we know the universe hates a void, so if they took something away, they would like to put something back, but they can only do it if you allow it. Right? So you have to be willing to receive the gift that awaits you, but you have to be open to it. If you say, "Oh, well, I've lost people before, and I don't recall myself getting any particular blessing behind it," maybe that's how you remember it. But Dharma, like karma, is infinite and true. So whatever you're supposed to receive that's good is going to come to you also. That's a promise. But you have to really be willing to at least make the attempt. It doesn't have to say that you're going to do it and then that's going to be the last time you think about this situation or this person. No. But the fact that you are willing to take the steps towards release, that's showing effort and intention on your part, effort towards your own healing. And when you take one step towards the gods, they take 10 steps towards you. So, something that you may want to consider if this is in regard to your relationship and you are ready to let that go. This might be a ritual that you may want to employ, but you have to be certain that you really do want to let go. And for some of us, that's not even a question. Yes, absolutely, I'm ready to let go. And for others of us, you still hold a glimmer of hope. So maybe you might not want to do this, but allow yourself to work on releasing it without doing the ceremony, perhaps, but at least being aware that you have that option. And just because you don't come into union or you can't reach the understanding that you hoped to with your divine masculine, that doesn't change the fact that you got work to do. And releasing this negative burden, this energy, these feelings of whatever, failure, disappointment, anger, hatred, even for some people, that's just something you don't need. It doesn't serve you. Not on this path. Got other things to do. And there's still work to be done. Others can benefit from hearing about your relationship and the things that happen on your journey. So even if it's just telling it to another friend, you never know. Write a poem. Write a letter. That's another thing you could do. You write a letter. Jane spoke about this too. Write a letter to the person. You may never intend to mail it, and if the person has transitioned, there's no one to mail it to. But express whatever your feelings are. And it can run the gamut. Recall the good times, the bad times, or whatever it is that has you stuck. Not or, and. because something can be bittersweet, right? So you may have good memories and you may have bad memories. And sometimes the bad are more than the good, and sometimes the good are more than the bad. Depends on the situation. But write a letter to that person, or to the creator, or to you, to yourself, to your inner child, to the parent, whatever. Get out. You can go back to it if you can't write it all in one sitting. But when you read it and when you processed it and you cried and you yelled and you laughed or whatever, dispose of it. Burn it. Bury it. But release it. Don't hold on to it. It's symbolic, but it helps. It's a release. And you'll feel a difference. You'll feel the energy around you lift a bit. But you have to be willing to address what's hurting, process it, feel it, and then let it go. This is all part of your growth. This is all part of the lessons that you need, because you're going to be employing these along the way as you deal with people and situations, and you'll be able to advise people and let them know how it felt to go through these things and the tools that you used in order to free yourself and to lift your spirits so that you could regroup and get back about your business, right? So wanted just to do this for you guys and share this with you. So since we're going, I wanted also to introduce this deck to you. This is called the Path of the Sacred Masculine. Okay? And these are contemplation cards. These are by Karen Kiester, and they're illustrated by Keith Johnson. So they're a separate book and a deck. Separate fees for each of these also. You can use them alone, or you can use the book alone. The book can be used alone. The cards can be used alone, or they can be used together. So the book is the guidebook. Explains to you the different spreads, the different passions. It gives you more information and insight. And these cards are geared towards the masculine energy. At a time when the patriarchy is diminishing and the goddess abound, what of the sacred masculine? As confusion about masculinity and what it means to be a man seems to muddy the water further, it is time for a simple yet profound tool to offer some assistance, and it's called the Path of the Sacred Masculine. And this is published by pathofthesacredmasculine.com. All right? So I wanted to use these during some readings that I would direct specifically towards the divine masculine, or when we're doing twin flame love readings, I figured I would use the divine feminine deck for the divine feminine energies and the sacred masculine for the divine masculine energies. And I think that it'll work good. I did it the same day I got this card for us, for the collective. I was opening these up. I was showing them to my same friend, and did a reading for her, and it was relevant. So these have different archetypes of masculine energies. So it's a warrior. It's not limited to that. Warrior, the hammer, the rock, oneness, different things. Father, grandson, son. It's really interesting. And it's broken down into cards and into archetypes, elements, and certain cards that come out in the same spread, what they would mean in relationship to one another. So it's pretty nice. The illustrations, okay, like this is a drum, pretty clear, and it tells you these little symbols show you what part of the path of the sacred masculine that would be corresponding to. So let's see if I could show you drum. And it's in alphabetical order for a change, thank you. And you get the black and white depiction of the card along with the words, right? So the drum is a tool, and the direction of it is northeast. So this is that, northeast. Yep. Well, it is in the camera that I'm looking at, but maybe when it uploads, it'll be northeast. And this, they have suit mates, which would be a brother, the magnetic, and the inner. And those are other cards in the suit that work well with this drum energy. When this card comes up, it may ask, are you taking care of your health? Do you like to play drums or musical instruments on a regular basis? Do you have a drum that you play on a regular basis? Have you ever attended a drumming circle? And have you participated? Can you feel your heartbeat? Do you want to make your own drum? So these are thoughts that that getting this card would could be addressing for the masculine. So they're okay, like this one. So this is a grandfather. So I guess he would be northwest since this was northeast, right? So it has symbol for male, and the grandfather is let's see. The grandfather has an energy of, now this is, the archetype is relatives, relations, right? And his suit mates would be the air, emotional, and flute. And the questions that may be running around in the masculine's mind, or the situations, are about spending time with his family, understanding where he comes from, who are his people, what is his genealogy. Have you simplified your life? Are you both loving and strong? Do you have those? Do you have that ability? Do you understand how to be loving and strong at the same time? And do you keep a good sense of humor in challenging times? So these are questions, again, that the masculine could be asking himself, or at least when we're being nosy and doing readings, we want to get their perspective on things. I think that it would be nice to bring, I think this would be a good tool to bring into those conversations. There is a nobleman, a mirror, a lyre, a chalice, magnetic. This is father, flute. So I would imagine this might have something to do with a Libra energy, and justice, oneness, book, warrior, the sword, wood, heavens, lover, nobleman, hammer, metal, brother, inner, divine, earthly, earth. Gnome, sun, emotional, animal, could be an Aquarius spirit, I guess, or a Leo, or air sign. Mental, vibrational, spiritual, craftsman, a rock, air, fire, bell. So, those are cards that are included in this deck, and those are the different contemplation cards, they're called, regarding the role of the masculine in life, right? The role of the sacred masculine. Earth and earthly. What's the difference? Let's see. Anyway, let me know what you think about these cards. I think they're pretty cool. And they're very nice stock. Very, very, very nice stock. Very thick. Not glossy, they're matte. But they're nice. And there are, I guess, well, this is an oracle card. So this is smaller, right? Smaller than an oracle. Oh, just a teeny bit. So, should be larger than most tarot cards. Tarot cards can be any size or any shape or whatever, right? But very nice cards. So earthly is, do you believe in angels? Have you had experiences with otherworldly beings? How do you want to be remembered? What is one thing you can do today to make things better for someone else? Do you communicate with your guardian angel? So those are the questions that would, types of questions that would be concerning the masculine, if you were to get that card in the reading. And earth is, do you recycle when you can? Are you being a steward for the earth? Do you enjoy sensuous smells of your body? Do you garden? Have you studied permaculture? So this is about your actual relationship to the earth, to the environment, to the ground, right? Doing your best to be ecologically responsible, ecology, you know. And this is your journey as a spiritual being having a human earthly experience in different situations that may present themselves, different concerns or discussions. Reminders of being in touch with your spiritual side, staying in touch with your spiritual side. So, I will be using these, I guess, in future readings, along with the Divine Feminine Oracle card, so that we could get a little more insight into the thought of how our partner is feeling, or just in general, how men perceive the world in similar or different ways than we do. Okay? The things that are important to them that may not be important to us or may not have even occurred to us, and vice versa. So there's a lot of information out there about the feminine journey and how we feel, but I felt that we need to try to do as much as we can to help heal our brothers, right? That's the whole idea. Being service to one another and being service to our partners, to each other, to the collective. So for the Divine Feminines who have been so patient and have joined me today while I spoke about these things, and understand we're getting ready to go through a retrograde, so we may be having some those regular things that flare up, right? Lots of people are not feeling well. There's going to be a lot of reassessing during the Pisces full moon that we just were going through. So check that information. Like I said, I'm not an astrologer or anything like that, but I know we're getting ready to go into another Mercury retrograde, so those energies it's not a good time to sign contracts. It's not a good time to make any permanent decisions about anything if you can help it. If you do have to sign some contracts, make sure that you read the fine print yourself. Okay, and even if you have attorneys and accountants and all that, just make sure that you ask questions. And if you don't feel comfortable, see if you could delay it until after March 20th, I've heard. And even 3 weeks after that, we'll still be in a little bit of a shadow of this time. But do what you can to see if you can avoid signing contracts during this time. So the card that Spirit has just given us is Mao Shang, the Princess of Mercy. Giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. Miao Shang. The Divine Feminine Oracle is by MEGGAN WATERSON. And I think that this is, again, talking about letting go of what doesn't serve you so that you can be open for receiving what you're meant to experience, and being all that you are meant to be. So you're going to be merciful towards others and towards yourself, letting things go. Page 134. So that's 4 plus 4, manifestation. And 4 plus 4 is 8. So we know infinite, divine. Thank you. So let's see what we can do real quick here. Mao Shang. I just saw the page. I just said it. What is going on? See? Mercury retrograde. 134. No, it's wrong. That's why that wasn't the page. 108. Meow Shang. There's lots of meows in here. Mouths in here. Page 108, which is 1 and 8 is 9. So this is the ancestors. Okay. 108. So let's see what happens. Empathy is the most mysterious transaction that a human soul can have, and it's accessible to all of us. But we have to give ourselves the opportunity to identify, to plunge ourselves in the story where we see the world from the bottom up or through another's eyes or heart. Empathy is mercy's twin sister. When we can feel into the reality of someone else's suffering, we open up to the possibility of mercy. Mercy comes from the old Etruscan MERRICK, M-E-R-C, MERRICK, which means exchange. Mercy is the embodiment of compassion. It can feel easy or even natural to have compassion for people who've never harmed us personally. But mercy is having compassion for someone who has hurt us. Mercy requires that we give something of ourselves, which is symbolized by Miao Shang giving her eyes and her arms to the king. It can feel like a great sacrifice to be so giving towards someone who has given us nothing but suffering. So this talks about forgiving those who have hurt us. Because when we refuse to release our anger towards someone, we're blocking the flow of the universe within us. You're not harming the person who harmed you by remaining angry. We're keeping ourselves from receiving the love and light that is already ours. And the meditation is, who can I give mercy to in this moment? Because our intention is giving, is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. So, who around you can you extend some mercy to, Divine Feminine? I'm pretty sure that you have somebody in mind if you're watching this. Okay, so be merciful. Because the mercy that you're extending them is the same mercy that the Creator is going to extend to you when you fall short and don't do what you're supposed to do. Granted, it may or may not be as serious, but sin is sin, you know. Disobedience is disobedience. I don't know if there's different levels of it. I don't know if there's a scale. But I also know that they say that in the Judeo-Christian scriptures that God will forgive you 777 times for the same sin. So I'm pretty sure that whoever it is that you're angry at ain't up to 777. Okay, so I got some more turns at the forgiveness well, because the well is infinite, as is mercy and as is love. So unconditional love is supported by mercy. And those are the things that we are striving for. No one's perfect, but make it your intention to be merciful. Have pity on him. So anyway, thank you all so much for allowing me to share this with you, okay? And I'll be talking to everybody real soon, all right? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these messages. Be blessed, okay? Stay strong, all right? We'll be fine. We'll get through this, and we're going to be coming back with some divine conversations with others of us, and we're going to even have some men join us for some of those divine conversations. So make sure you hit the notification button so you'll know when those things happen, all right? We'll be speaking soon. Love you guys. Peace.